Hello everyone, back tuning into today's video. We're going to have a look at the weather for the next week to 10 days for today's video. That's going to take us to around the 9th, 10th of May. We'll be able to extend out beyond that with the extended GFS and ECM ensemble, so run to around a couple of weeks. So I'll have a look at CFS V2 at the end of the video for the next 4 weeks. Normally we would look at the Beijing Climate Centre on a Thursday, but of course CFS didn't update a couple of days ago. I think that was on Tuesday. So we looked at Beijing Climate Centre then. So we're going to look at CFS today, but the reason I normally rest CFS on a Thursday, look at Beijing Climate Centre, is in case the CFS does update on Friday when we do Jeremy Friday. It means that we have like Thursday's update to go at. So hopefully nothing will go wrong and the CFS will update tomorrow as well for JMA Friday. Let's keep our fingers crossed about that. But that's what we're doing anyway for this video. We're going to have a look at CFS V2 at the end of the video. And the first part of the video, we'll take a look at the demise. Yes, the demise of the polar vortex. More about that in a moment. But before we do anything else, I'm going to say a big thank you to our latest YouTube channel member. So a big thank you to Matthew Constance. In yesterday's live stream, Matthew Constance became a YouTube channel member for Gazworthy. So thank you so much, Matthew, for doing that. That's absolutely great. Absolutely fantastic. Thanks so much, Matthew. And thank you to all of our YouTube channel members. We've only been doing this for a couple of weeks, so we've picked up loads of channel members. So just a big thank you to all of you. If you'd like to become a YouTube channel member for Gazworthy, all you need to do is click the join button just here on the YouTube channel, on the Gazworthy YouTube channel homepage, or with the videos. That will take you to another page where you'll see what benefits you can get for becoming a Gazworthy YouTube channel member, and you can also sign up. Some people saying they can't see the join button on mobile and tablet devices. Work around with that is that you'll find a link in the description with the video that takes you through to this page where you can sign up and become a Gazworthy YouTube channel member. Big thank you to all of our YouTube channel members, and a big thank you to YouTube for giving us this opportunity as well. It wasn't something I was expecting at all. They just contacted me a couple of weeks ago and said that channel membership is enabled for this channel, and it's not something they offer to all YouTube channels by any means. So a huge thank you to YouTube for the opportunity. And I'll say a big thank you to all of our patrons and donors as well, not to leave all of you out, because you have been responding to the appeal for support over the past few weeks. We go through the coronavirus crisis, of course. Ad revenues are pretty much dried up at the moment, and so we need these other revenue streams to be able to keep funding and keep doing what we're doing. So I appreciate that it's a very difficult time for everyone, and the way you've all responded, whether it's through PayPal or through Patreon or through YouTube channel membership, the way you've all responded, it's been absolutely amazing. So a huge thank you to all of you for your support. We're going to keep recording and uploading. That's our promise to you. Through this crisis, we're going to keep uploading and recording and live streaming, and we're going to keep you entertained, hopefully, and informed as we remain in lockdown and in quarantine, and we're unable to do the things that we would normally do. So I think it's important that everybody has another outlet. It's on the telly 24/7, this disaster that we're going for. So I think it's important that people have another way of being entertained and informed. And I think the internet, especially YouTube, has been really great for offering those alternative outlets. So just keep coming to the channel. We're going to keep the content going for you. That is our absolute promise to you, that we will keep the content coming, and we're going to keep hopefully entertaining and informing you during this crisis. We're trying to get the subscriptions up on the channel as well. We're at 6,540. We're sort of stuck mid 6,000s at the moment. We'd like to get this to 7,000 subscribers by the end of the summer. Typically at this time of year, we'd be picking up new new subscribers for things like Glastonbury, but of course all of that is off the table this year. Not going to be any events, or very few events through this summer, so we're a little bit stuck with the subs at the moment. So if you aren't subscribed to Gazzo's YouTube channel, then please subscribe to the channel. Click the little bell notification icon there when you subscribe. And that will give you notifications when we release content and we upload and live stream and whatnot. You'll be notified. And also, I think by clicking the bell icon, you don't get unsubscribed. Sometimes people get unsubscribed for no reason from their favourite YouTube channels. But apparently the workaround is to subscribe through the notification bell icon. And that's the workaround for that. So just a big thank you to everybody, really. It's very special what you've done for Gazzo over the past few weeks. As I say, special thank you to our latest YouTube channel member, Matthew Constance. Big thank you, Matthew, for that. Right, let's get on, and we're going to start off by talking about the polar vortex, the Stratospheric-Polar-Vortex. This is how temperatures are currently looking. It'll be the last time you see this, I think, this season. Until September, October time anyway. So this is how temperatures are currently looking at 10 HPA in the stratosphere over the North Pole. This is from the JMA. The grey line is the trend line. The black line is the current temperature at 10 HPA and temperature through this season. So you can see, but at this point of the year, of course, temperatures are warming up in the stratosphere. Well, at all levels of the atmosphere, temperatures will be warming up in the Northern Hemisphere at this point of the year, because the sun is now in the Northern Hemisphere, of course. But you can see from the black line that, yes, we are warmer than average. We're at around minus 30. At the end of April, we should be at around minus 40. So we're warmer than average by around 10 degrees at 10 HPA over the North Pole. And this has been ongoing, really, since the sudden stratospheric warming that we had at the end of March. If we go lower down to 30 HPA, that's closer to the charts here. Look how cold the temperature was at 30 HPA throughout the winter, generally hovering around minus 80 from beginning to end of the winter. But that's where we are right now. We're above the grey line. We're above average. I haven't been above average at 30 HPA very often over the past few months, but we are right now. We're near minus 40. Should be somewhere around minus 45. So, yes, 30 HPA and 10 HPA. The temperature is now above average, and this is helping to lead, or has helped to lead, to the demise of the polar vortex. So look at this. This was a tweet put out yesterday by our good friend Marco Patagna. Marco is media advisor and senior operational meteorologist with the UK Met Office. I'll leave the link to Marco's Twitter in the description with the video at YouTube. So give Marco a follow on Twitter if you would like to do that. But this was a tweet put out yesterday. Here we go. This year's hashtag SPV, Stratospheric Polar Vortex, is now dead. Zonal wind at 10 HPA, 60 degrees north, is today at minus 2. That's down from plus minus 0.17 the day before. The polar vortex has died. Zonal winds have reversed, and we can see that just here. So this is from weatheriscool.com. We've got lots of different coloured lines, but I won't talk you through all of them. But the most important ones are probably the blue line, because that is showing how zonal wind's been performing through this season, where the zonal wind is right now. And the black line is the trend line. So, of course, at this time of year, zonal winds are generally dropping out anyway, as temperatures warm up at 10 HPA in the stratosphere, so the zonal wind will weaken. But the all-important line is this zero line just here, because that tells you when the zonal winds have gone into reverse, that line just there. So you can see throughout most of this season, over the past few weeks and months, the zonal wind has been at record-breaking levels on and off, just there, for example, and just there, and again there, and there as well. We have had a record-breaking winter in terms of the strength of this monster polar vortex that we have had through this season. But now let's zoom in so you can see it a little bit better. Let's zoom you in Scroll down, and there you can see it. Look, we've got the blue line finally dipping underneath that 0 line. So Zonal winds have indeed reversed, had a reversal of the zonal wind, and the zonal wind is going to continue to weaken further over the next couple of weeks, according to the GFS ensembles. They're indicated by the green line. So this reversal of zonal winds is typical for this time of the year. Normally we would be seeing the end of the polar vortex, but I think the reason it's such a big story is just purely due to how strong and all-encompassing and dominating the polar vortex has been this winter. The polar vortex has been like the engine that has driven zonality and westerlies and low pressure and all of these bands of rain and wind that we've had sweeping across the country through the winter. All of those bands of low pressure and bands of wind and rain, they have all been driven by the polar vortex, acting as an engine, if you like, to just drive the jet stream and drive everything else. So it was a monster polar vortex. It took a long time to die. Look how strong it was, indicated by this blue line, significantly above average, even into the spring. It's took an absolute age to see the end of this polar vortex, but finally, yes, it has died, and that's it. It's gone for this season. It will return as we get through to the end of the summer. Of course, we will see the polar vortex coming back, but that will be a new polar vortex, and of course, what influence and what impact that has on the winter of 2020-21 remains to be seen. But the polar vortex of the winter of 2019-20 has finally gone. We also see it here from the ECMWF. This is from the University of Berlin. This is showing, again, zonal winds all the way up to 1 HP, which is very far, as far as you can go, really, in the stratosphere. Again, look at the zonal wind flatlining along that 0 line at 1 HPA. So again, we say that zonal winds are in reverse there. And these two coloured lines just here, the red and blue line, they are showing zonal winds at 30 HPA and 10 HPA. You see, they have also, with the ECMWF, they have also dropped to 0. Zonal winds have reversed. Whichever model we look at, essentially the zonal wind has gone into reverse and the polar vortex has died. So that's it, it's gone. Whether you think that's a good thing or whether you're sad to see the end of the polar vortex will depend on your point of view and depend on what you wanted out of this last winter. If you wanted a cold winter and a snowy winter, I suspect you will be you'll be rather relieved and happy to see the end of the polar vortex. But if you enjoy the wet and windy, stormy winter that we had, then you'll perhaps be a little bit sad. But it's gone. But there it is. That's the end of the polar vortex of the winter of 2019-2020. Gone, but certainly, I think we can say, not forgotten. We'll remember that polar vortex for a very, very long time. Right, let's have a look at what's going on at the moment then, and this is how the centering temperature is looking. So currently the CET is standing at 10.8, that's an anomaly of 2.9 degrees. It's provisional up to yesterday, 29th of March. So we've dipped back under 11 degrees. Remember a couple of days ago this went to, just got to 11 degrees. It's now gone back under 11 degrees. That's probably going to tick down further for today because it's another pretty cool day in the CET zone, so that will probably tick down to 10.7 for today, and then it'll be a question of how much of a downwards correction do we get. Lately we haven't been getting that much of a downwards correction, to be honest, so we've only been shaving off a tenth of a degree or so. So we'll find out tomorrow where we finish up. I'd anticipate we'll probably be somewhere around 10.5 to 10.7. So it will be interesting to see where we finish up, and we'll know tomorrow, as long as I updated, of course, we'll know tomorrow where the CET comes out for April 2020. It's certainly been a very warm April, though. It's not going to be the warmest on record, that's 2011. It's not going to be the second warmest on record, that's 2007. But it has been a really warm April, to say the least. Right, so moving ahead, these are how the 500 millibar high anomaly flow charts, Penn State University are looking for next week, 10 days. We've got the ECMWF on the top, the GFS, which I'll in a moment, is on the bottom. So 500 millibars is an area in the actual high pressure and low pressure are being moved around by projections running above. Red extrapolates to high pressure and blue to low pressure, more of an anticyclonic influence. These are taking us into the week to 10-day time frame, by the way, which gets us pretty much through the first 10 days of May now. So yes, more of an anticyclonic influence, above average heights, close to the UK and extending north, and also to our south as well. Trough of low pressure out to the west and also to the northeast. Jet stream doing something a bit like that. It looks like we could be turning drier, warmer, and more anticyclonic now as we go into the week to 10-day time frame. This is how the GFS is looking, quite similar really, above average heights again sitting to our north and to our south. There's a trough through here, so it is a little bit more unsettled, but overall we are seeing more in the way of an anticyclonic influence coming back as we go towards the end of the first week of May and into the second week of May. So all the way along, I've been unsure about how long this sort of slightly more unsettled interruption that we're currently within at the moment. We've been unsure how long that was going to last, whether we would get back to high pressure quite quickly, and perhaps the signs are there that we might be going back to high pressure relatively quickly as we go through the first week of May. These are the GFS upper air temperature and precipitation ensembles. So let's go quickly look at Manchester today. Red line is the 30-year upper air temperature average for Manchester, close to or possibly a little bit below average for the next few days. But into next week, temperatures do lift up through the early to middle part of next week. I think we could see temperatures reaching mid-20s Celsius down in the south sometime around Tuesday, Wednesday next week. And then probably hovering above or slightly above average really as we move into the second week of May and on up to the middle part of the month. Precipitation wise, quite a few rainfall spikes coming through during the next few days, but I think we may have a bit of a drying trend there as we come to the end of the first week and into the second week of May. So all backing up the idea, but although it's unsettled right now and will remain unsettled for the next few days as well, we possibly return back to high pressure later on next week. Temperature anomalies from the 30th of April to the 8th of May, a little bit below average, so quite a coolish week coming up again from the 30th of April to the 8th of May. Precipitation anomalies from the 30th of April to the 8th of May, near normal. Driving average for the north of Scotland, near normal elsewhere. They may trend warmer and drier over the coming days. So that's how the GFS is looking for Sunday. So on Sunday, we've got a ridge building through the country. Low pressure is out to our west and also to our northeast. I think the trend over weekend is gradually towards drier and slightly warmer conditions. Early next week, we have high pressure sitting just to our east, low pressure out to the southwest, drawing up the wind from like a southerly to southeasterly direction. So it should be turning increasingly warm, I think, as we go through the early part of next week. As I say, temperatures might push up to the mid-20s Celsius, but watch out for the possibility of a few showers coming through, and they might be quite heavy, maybe even a little bit thundering. And then we've got questions through the second half next week with this high pressure to our northeast, just here, and the low pressure to the west and southwest. It's a question of how much influence this low pressure has against the ridge. So I would suspect maybe the risk, an increasing risk of some showers around the middle part of the week, particularly for the south and the west. Northern east areas tending always to get the drier weather. Moving up towards day 10, the high pressure then starts to move and it heads over towards Iceland. We begin to pull in some cooler winds from the northeast, so possibly seeing temperatures beginning to lower as we go up towards day 10, which I say gets us to the 10th of May today. Beyond that, we see the high pressure heading further northwards, becoming a bit of a northern blocking feature up towards Greenland and Iceland. We start to pull in these very chilly northeast winds. It's very chilly for the time of the year. So we go through the second week of May, and this particular GFS run is producing northerly winds, northern blocking, and generally looks quite cold. Not particularly wet. High pressure still controlling the weather, so there's a reasonable amount of dry weather going on with that. But certainly temperatures take a bit of a tumble, and it becomes quite chilly. GM looks like this. So again, we've got low pressure out to our west and a ridge building through the country through the weekend into the early part of next week. A nice little ridge there for Tuesday next week. The ridge holds on through into the middle part of next week. Low pressure is again centred out to west, drawing up some quite warm air from the south here through the middle of next week. Maybe a little bit unstable, possibly some heavy showers or thunder storms breaking out, but overall this looks pretty decent through much of next week until we get to the end of the GM run, which gets us again to day 10, certainly the 10th of May, and then perhaps just a trough beginning to develop over the country, might be turning more widely showery, and with winds coming in from the northeast a little bit cooler. ECM is looking like that, so again, it's similar story, a ridge very close to the country through the early part of next week. Actually, an area of high pressure there, 1,030 millibars over top of the country on Tuesday next week, bringing lots of dry and fine conditions. That ridge sort of sticks around through much of next week, actually. This is Thursday. Again, we're dominated by high pressure, drawing in quite a warmish southeasterly flow. Wouldn't rule out temperatures getting into the low to mid 20s Celsius with that. High pressure just continues to dominate really as we move up towards day 10. But by day 10 itself, we're perhaps going a little bit cooler and a little bit more unsettled. But nevertheless, I think the emphasis is now moving towards drier conditions again through next week and increasingly warm temperatures perhaps. These are the options on the table within the ECM ensembles today for day 10. Gets us to the 10th of May. We have 15 members of the ECM ensembles with above average heights out to our west, near normal heights through the country. So it might be a bit showery and possibly a bit on the cool side as well as winds are in from the northeast. 14 with high pressure out to our northwest. A trough of low pressure is extended to the east. Winds are in from the northeast with that. 13 with a mid-Atlantic ridge connecting back to northern blocking over Greenland and quite a deep trough of low pressure over Scandinavia. Winds are properly northerly there. That does include the control run as well, by the way. So that's one of the coolest options. This one, by the way, is the operational run just there. And then 9 members of the ECM ensembles have a high pressure to the north of Scotland, and they're bringing the winds light from an easterly direction. So possibly by day 10, a lot of those ensemble members are indicating something rather cool coming in from the north. In 2 weeks' time, these are the options that we've got. This is for the 15th of May. 23 members of the ECM ensembles, they're looking unsettled. They've got a trough of low pressure sort of extending through much of northern and western Europe. So by the middle of May, we're into proper unsettled conditions with those. 18 with a trough of low pressure again over into the east of the country. Winds at east northeasterly, they're going to be quite unsettled. 10 look a little bit drier, high pressure out to our west. Just a bit more influence from high pressure with those 10. But again, not particularly warm. Winds are kind of northerly, probably with those 2. So, although we do see signs of drier, warmer conditions developing through next week, the sort of longer term outlook, days 10 to 14, possibly going towards something cooler, maybe colder, and more unsettled. Finally, the CFS-V2. So these are 500 millibar heights broken down into week periods. The first week period will take us from the 30th of April to the 6th of May. The coming week is unsettled. Low pressure is through the country. So, yes, we've got a cool and unsettled week to come. Week 2 is the 7th to the 13th of May. Trough of low pressure in over Scandinavia. Ridge is pulling out into the middle of the Atlantic. Perhaps not quite as unsettled, but pretty cool, I think, with that. Winds will generally be coming from a northerly point. Week 3 is going to be the 14th to the 20th of May. Plenty of low pressure in the North Atlantic. Westerly winds as well. Cool and unsettled there too. And finally, week 4 takes us from the 21st of May to 27th, with high pressure setting up over Germany, low pressure out towards Greenland, Iceland. Perhaps still a bit showery, a bit unsettled, but that would be warmer. Winds are pulling up from a south to southwesterly direction with that one. So it is a mixed bag for May, as it has been over the past few weeks. The uncertainty about this May continues, really. I think we focus on next week's weather and don't look too far beyond that. So for a while, next week looked as though it's going to be a rather cool an unsettled week, but I think we have gradually shifted to something rather warmer and drier for next week. This is indicative of the uncertainty within the model output, of course. So late in the day, next week is looking warmer and drier. The evidence beyond that looks relatively cool and unsettled, I have to say. But given that next week, first week of May, a few days ago, was looking relatively cool and unsettled, I'm not sure how seriously we take the model output beyond that, really. So relatively warmish and dryish, I think, through next week is a signal, possibly with some heavy showers breaking out, but relatively warmish and dryish through next week. And then we wait and see where we go after that. Right, that's it for the video for today. Hope you found it interesting and informative. Don't forget to give us a thumbs up on the video. Let us know that you enjoyed it. Remember to subscribe to the channel as well. And we're going to see you tomorrow when we'll have a week to 10-day video update. And we've got JMA Friday for you as well. Hopefully the CFS will update tomorrow as it has done today. That's it for now, though, and thanks for watching.